I walk the Dinan-Shiral. There is only death on this journey. I would not have you see what I become.
Lord of tricksters and he who hunts alone, kin to his people, he could walk on both sides of gods without fear. They all trusted him and all of them were betrayed. He told the creators that a blade was forged in the heavens and the forgotten ones that it was hidden in the abyss. And when they went searching for it, he sealed them both in their realms forever, paying the ultimate price. He comes in humble guises, but strikes those who are vulnerable. Thedas has never been in more peril than ever before. Fen'Harel will rise again. Hey guys, Jackdaw here. Given the many revelations of Tevinter Nights, we have a lot of plot threads and teasers hinting at what Solas may do next in his grand scheme to destroy the Veil and restore the Elven kingdom. Indeed, the Dread Wolf has risen and we've got a lot of theorizing to do. So with that said, I ask that you don your tinfoil hats respectively as we examine the Dread Wolf rising and the next stages of Solas' scheme that will inevitably destroy Thedas.
When he rises, everyone will see.
Fen'Harel has risen as a beastly and ill-natured creature held from within, mantled in the disguise of an elven mage. Discovered in Callback, the final fresco that Solas drafted out in Skyhold's Rotunda before leaving the Inquisition revealed an outline of a beast stood over a stabbed dragon, two figures painted on either side of a pane of glass with confusing forms. The beast is shown to be a horrifying wolf, having absorbed the dragon's power, stood crooked over all. The depiction of this unfinished fresco relates to Solas' embrace with Mythal at the end of Dragon Age Inquisition. For many years, we have been scratching our heads about this exchange between Mythal and Solas. Thanks to Tevinter Nights, and more aptly Solas, we have the truth. This fresco uncovers that Solas absorbed an unknown quantity of Mythal's power, and with her essence he can now rise as the Dread Wolf. For what purpose we'll discuss later on. However, an essence of Mythal somewhat lives on, as she seemingly placed a piece of herself into an Alluvian before Solas took the majority of her power in order to rise. I certainly don't think that this is the end of Mythal. I believe quite the contrary. I think Solas' scheme that has been set in motion was Mythal's idea in the first place. Without her power, Solas wouldn't be able to rise as the Dread Wolf. It's only because of her immolation he can now rise. I think Mythal too will rise in the future, perhaps in another body. Regardless, the fact that Solas engraved rising as the Dread Wolf with Mythal's power in Skyhold before the orb broke proves that Solas always intended on meeting Mythal to take an aspect of her power. Mythal's sacrifice was never a backup plan to Solas. Regardless of his orb's destruction, Solas always planned on paying her a visit, with or without the orb, having the same intention of absorbing her power so he could rise. The orb was only supposed to fulfill one purpose, and that is to rip a hole in the veil, whereas taking Mythal's power has a different purpose, to prepare for Solas' transformation into the Dread Wolf. And so with that power now invested, the Dread Wolf has risen, but only willingly on Mythal's part.
I would have entered the Fade using the mark you now bear. Then I would have torn down the veil. As this world burned in the raw chaos, I would have restored the world of my time. The world of the elves.
With the orb's destruction, Solas will be looking for a new way to destroy the Veil. Perhaps the Red Lyrium idol is his backup attempt and tracking down that idol is his current quest, so he can successfully destroy the Veil with the idol as intended. If that solves how Solas could destroy the Veil, then what is Solas' plan behind rising as the Dread Wolf? He's not rising as the Dread Wolf to destroy the Veil, so what is the Dread Wolf's purpose? Perhaps Solas needs to rise as the malicious Dread Wolf so he can vengefully deal with the many hostile forces after the Veil is destroyed. Although there is plenty of opposition against Solas destroying the Veil, like the Executors, the Qunari, the Inquisition, and so on, nothing in Thedas today can equal or rival what lies beyond the Veil, lingering in many places like the Void and the darkest depths of the Fade. ancient beings, things left forgotten, and the ever-numerous. Solas is rising as the Dread Wolf to slay his ultimate adversaries. The next protagonist may think that we fall among that category, but nothing can measure against the insane, wicked powers of those who dwell across the Veil, and will soon be released from their shackles if Solas succeeds and destroys the barrier protecting Thedas against the Fade.
If you destroyed the Veil, wouldn't the false gods be freed?
I had plans. They killed Mythal. A crime for which an eternity of torment is the only fitting punishment.
Mythal was murdered by her own people, the ever-numerous. In their lust for power, they betrayed her. When the Veil is destroyed, Solas will rise as the Dread Wolf. Seeking justice for Mythal's murder, he will find and kill each member of the Elven pantheon that wronged his queen. The deaths of the false gods will bring forth a new Elven empire ruling over Thedas, with Solas and Mythal at the top.
She was betrayed as I was betrayed, as the world was betrayed. Mythal clawed and crawled her way through the ages to me, and I will see her avenged!
I believe that Mythal exchanged the majority of her power to Solas so he could follow her scheme of vengeance and justice against the ever-numerous. Throughout the ages, Mythal seeks her own reckoning against those who betrayed her. Her one aim has always been vengeance. With Solas waking up from his long slumber, the two have since schemed an ending against the Pantheon. Solas using Mythal's power and rising as the Dread Wolf will be the false god's demise. Solas and Mythal will have their vengeance and a new world for the Elven people. However, the Veil hasn't been destroyed just yet, and there's still time to stop Solas before reaching that reality. The best lead on Solas's plan regards the Red Lyrium idol. This idol is still a mystery, and I say that with exasperated lungs because I've talked about the blasted relic in every single lore video I have created since the Dread Wolf Rises trailer back in December of 2018. Because of that, I am going to rush through the main details on this idol. It has been described as a couple hugging two Finterby dwarves or a god mourning their sacrifice. However, disregarding what it supposedly looks like, this idol belongs to Solas. It is his and he wants it back. He has a purpose for it. For what? Well, Red Lyrium is known to thin the Veil, and this idol has magical properties too. It'd be a pretty good catalyst for the Veil's destruction. Secondly, when this idol was used in a blood and binding ritual, it revealed a most intriguing ritual blade. Perhaps Solas wants or needs this blade? Could this be the blade to end all wars? Does he need it to finish his ritual? Or is it a nice sharp dagger to cut Llewellyn's heart out again? And my final reason for justifying Solas's genocidal actions: in the Hunt of the Fell Wolf Codex, Inquisitor Emeraldin killed a giant canine beast with a mysterious fade-touched idol. This idol was the only thing that could prove the monster's doom. Perhaps this idol from Emeraldin's story is the very same Red Lyrium idol, and Solas is looking for it because the idol is one of the few things that can stop and kill Solas, just like the beast in the Codex. So if Solas finds the idol before anyone else, he has got full security over his own victory, and no one can stand against him. As we know, the Red Lyrium idol belongs to Solas. Perhaps it's like a Horcrux. You destroy the idol and you destroy an aspect of Solas. If that's too far-fetched, then perhaps the idol is just very strong with its magical properties and Red Lyrium compound, and that's what can defeat Solas. Or potentially the ritual blade released from the idol is the ultimate blow against him. It's really a matter of tinfoil at the moment. What's unknown is the idol's location. Does Solas already possess the idol? If not, where is it? Or more apropos, who has it? In short, because I don't want to be dragging on about where this idol could be, its whereabouts are pretty much set up for interpretation by the end of the Dreadwolf Take You. Having finished the story, we don't quite know where exactly the idol is, and I believe that's the intention behind the book. But even if we take a guess, it doesn't feel concrete. Did Solas actually take the idol from an overbearing auction with quite the hysterical crowd located off the coast of Ravane? Or did a noble son smuggle the idol safely back into Tevinter war-torn territory? While I lean to the side of Solas lied throughout the story, so therefore he doesn't have it and it's somewhere in Tevinter in the occupancy of Maker knows who, that still doesn't give us any clues to go on. Fortunately though, disregarding Tevinter Nights' ending, we have new information so we don't have to continually guess like a dog chasing its tail. Thanks to Dark Horse Dragon Age comic writer Nunzio de Philippis, we have an understanding of where the Red Lyrium idol was originally supposed to go, before the comics were reworked with Dragon Age 4's iteration reboot. Nunzio recently mentioned in the unofficial BioWare forum that the comic characters from Deception were originally chasing the Red Lyrium idol. The original plan for the comics would have had the characters retrieve the idol, only to then have Solas take it from them, alluding to the idol's planned whereabouts before the plot was changed. So regardless of where the idol may hypothetically be right now, is Solas' retrieval of the blasted thing inevitable, considering the comics would have had this plot solved before the next game's launch? Is it a matter of time before Solas finds the idol, or has the plot changed significantly enough that maybe our new protagonist will have a shot at grabbing the idol before Solas gets his hands on it? With that, we don't have a solid placement for where the idol is, but we can assume that it will end up in Solas' hands soon enough, unless the plot has drastically changed. However, regardless of the Red Lyrium idol and what it may or may not do in the next game or in the future, Solas already has a ritual set out to destroy the Veil. Whatever this ritual is beats me, but Solas mentions that it's going to take a few years until his ritual is complete, and then boom, it'll be down with the Veil and the Dread Wolf shall rise. This once more begs the question, if Solas has made plans to destroy the Veil, then why does he need the Red Lyrium idol? But again, like I said, perhaps he needs to retrieve the idol because it's his greatest weakness if used against him. Once he has the idol, he can destroy it or throw it in the rubbish, so no one can stop his plan. Back to attempting to understand Solas' ritual, Solas as the Dread Wolf has taken full residency in the Fade, where his ritual has started to affect. The Mortalitasi organised their own ritual to push the Qunari back home, using blood magic and binding spells. These types of magic are undoing the work Solas has set in motion. They're a hindrance to his ritual. Therefore, the Dreadwolf made his presence known at the Grand Necropolis in Navarra, forbidding both types of magic. If anyone dare bind a spirit or use blood magic, your life is the Dreadwolf's for the taking. Clearly, any magic that requires demons and spirits or changes a spirit's original purpose is undoing Solas' ritual, most likely because the spirits of the Fade are serving Solas willingly. They're probably required for his ritual. Taking them away from their purpose is undoing Solas' work. Spirits and demons want the Veil to come down, so many of them can pursue their own desires to enter the physical world, so it's no surprise that they serve Solas freely. Regardless, what exactly is this ritual doing? It's already affecting the Fade. So is Solas slowly decaying the Veil over time? Is he reaching into the Black City? Does this ritual have something to do with the old gods? Is it in preparation for killing the Elven Pantheon? Is Solas' ritual going to take him back in time to restore the Elven Kingdom? So many ideas for this ritual, so very few answers. As it stands, we really don't know anything else about this ritual. So to change the pace from it, let's say Solas is successful and the Veil is destroyed. How are the elves going to survive the Veil's destruction? When talking to Charter, Solas tells her that the world would be better off for the remaining elves that survive. But how can anyone survive the Fade crashing into Fadis? Surely the chaos the Veil's destruction will bring onto Fadis will be an absolute catastrophe. Is Solas taking those he deems worthy enough to a safe place so they can rebuild the Elven Empire once the Veil is no more? Is he building a metaphorical ark, gathering all of his elves 2 by 2 as his flood destroys all of Fadis? How can he guarantee safety to the elves? Surely he must have a plan for them to survive this calamity, otherwise he wouldn't have said that to Charter. And if he's offering Charter a safe harbour, why wouldn't he then offer this to a romanced Lavellan? Surely he'd want to save her, right? Ultimately, more questions that we'll need to answer for ourselves when Dragon Age 4 arrives, or we get another book or comic that ties up some of these plot points. Although we still are quite clueless on Solas' ritual and the Red Lyrium idol's purpose, I can say without doubt that Solas has risen as the Dread Wolf. a looping evil creature that seeks the end of the Evernearist and Thedas as we know it. An ultimate adversary for our next protagonist, one that will not go down so easily, who truly terrifies everyone that attempts to get in his way. However, there is a trick to the Dread Wolf. You see, Solas may think that his plan is for the greater good of his people, but I do believe that he is naive to the one who's fundamentally been pulling the strings of his scheme all along. The one who has set his very purpose in motion, and that is Mythal. A queen he would not see go unavenged, and someone he'd do anything to achieve justice for in her name. I believe that this trust Solas has for Mythal will be the end of him, that he is nothing but a puppet to Mythal's plan for vengeance. I believe this conquest for justice will send Solas down a path of anger, decay, and ultimately death. The biggest threat against Solas is himself, as he admits he's foolish, prideful, and doing what he must. Will we be the one to stop him before it's too late, changing his mind? Or will we grant him a finishing blow, silencing our once beloved friend? I for one am certainly going down a path of stopping the Dread Wolf no matter the costs. If that means killing my once good friend, then so be it. Do tell me down below what you think about all of this theory, everything I've mentioned about Solas' plan and the Dread Wolf Rising. I genuinely believe Mythal is behind all of Solas' scheme. She has been the enabler of his plan, she's been the one to grant him power, and because of her, he can now rise as the Dread Wolf, and he has risen as the Dread Wolf, as proven in the Dread Wolf Take You. Ultimately, she will live on, and everything Solas is doing is in her name. To kill the Evernearist, to restore the Elven Empire to what it used to be. Only then will we see Mythal's true colours come to light. But of course, this is all a theory, my rambunctious ramblings. Let me know down below what you think about all of this content. Do you think that Mythal is ultimately evil, or Solas is actually the one pulling the strings? What do you think about the Dread Wolf Rising, and where do you see Solas' plan going in the future? Let me know all of those thoughts down below. But until the next one guys, I hope you are all staying safe during these hard times, but I will be here supplying you with all your Dragon Age content needs. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, like me on Facebook, check out my Patreon if you wish. But until the next one, I have been Jackdaw, and I should go. Whoa, 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 whoa.